We're here on the Boy Mountain podcast, sponsored by Happy Holly Outdoors. We're sitting here on this pretty day God's give us with Chris Higginbottom. Chris, he's a Red Bay native, but he's teaching and coaching across the state line over in Belmont, Mississippi. Chris, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, first, thank you for having me today on the podcast. My name's Chris Higginbottom. I grew up in Red Bay, graduated in 97, love the town of Red Bay. Went on to college and graduated, and then married Ashley Kane, which is Ashley Kane Higginbottom. This July we'll be married 18 years. We have two wonderful children, Callie Beth Higginbottom, who is our daughter that's 11 years old, and we have Kason Higginbottom, our son, who is 7 years old. And my wife teaches at Belmont, and my children go to Belmont, and we're excited to have that type of family.
That sounds good. What about both of your kids? You said they like playing some sports.
They do. Callie, she really loves basketball. She plays in the youth league at Belmont. They won the little west side and also the east side, so their team was overall Franklin County champions this year, which made it back-to-back, so very proud of her and her team. My son, he really loves baseball. That's his favorite. He likes basketball too. I think the most thing he likes basketball is getting to be the assistant coach, so he helps me on the sideline, but they love sports.
Oh, boy. So what about the recent feat you and your team just accomplished?
I was very happy, very proud of our team for what we're able to accomplish. Basketball season is a very long season. It's a grind, and we had some adversity as far as injuries, but we had other players who stepped up and overcame those injuries. And to finish on top is your ultimate goal, is to win your last game, and to be able to do it with this group was very special. And we're still all excited and happy about being the 3A state champions. I guess you say it was very well earned, especially how it ended.
Yeah. So last second,
we were down 1 point, 37-36, and 16 seconds to go, and it was Boonville's ball on the sideline. The girls came to me, and they looked a little discouraged, so I tapped one on the shoulder, number 30, Haley Ivy. And I think they're discouraged because our point guard, Carly Brock, had fouled out. She's our floor general. Elena Hubbard had fouled out. She's our glue. She was a good leader that held us together. Those two were on the bench, and they couldn't help their team win except cheer. And so I saw that we're a little down. I tapped number 30, Haley Ivy, on the shoulders, and I said, "Hey, you're fixing to steal this pass, and you're fixing to go shoot the game-winning layup." And the ball was thrown in. She stole the pass and went and shot. Really looked like the game-winning layup. And when I tell that story, everybody, I don't believe you. So they asked my players, and my players said, yes, Coach said that. More than once, he said it. So I was very proud that she actually, made the play and do it. A lot of times when you get to state championship games, it's not about your plays, your X's and O's. It's about players making plays. Yeah. And she made a really big play to make that layup, and then that put us up, 1 point, and she got fouled on inbounds or a sideline play that we had, and she made both free throws, which was very crucial because within the few seconds, Boonville has the ball, throws it in to their best free throw shooter, and we foul her. With 0.3 seconds to go, and we're up 3, and we foul her on a 3. So she hadn't missed a free throw the times we played them. So she's really good, and it just didn't look good. But she missed the first one, and she made the next 2, and we're able to get the rebound and secure the win by winning by 1 point. So it's a little miraculous ending at the end.
Yeah. What's your nerve level on that?
Everybody want to check my blood pressure. I think I'd blown off some cuffs or so. But, I try to always not seem to be nervous, so that way my players are not nervous. But, I felt good about things, but also, I didn't know if we could make that play that we needed to be able to win it. I always believe in a close game, you've got to be able to execute one really good play to be able to win it. And we were able to do it at the end when it mattered the most.
Yeah.
But I will give Carly and Elena really good credit. They were standing up, encouraging her team, supporting. I did tell Carly, I know that you'll play college ball, but after that, you look like a really good coach on the sideline. You might want to do that for a living. So we'll see.
So that's not the first championship you've been to, right?
No, sir. I've been privileged and honored to coach in 8 state championship games, and we've won 5 of them. And all 5 of them have been down to the wire. So the first state championship that I won as a coach was in 2010. We had a chance to win it in regulation. We missed some crucial free throws, went into overtime, and ended up winning it 60-55. So, and then we go in 2012, and in 2010 we'd played Ripley, and we had to beat Ripley 5 times to win the state championship.
Good,
and
man.
we had beaten them 5 times, but we went 5-0. And then in 2012 we played Ripley again, and the first quarter we didn't even score. We're down 8-0, and we trailed the entire game until the last 14 seconds when we got it and shot a left-handed layup, and ended up being a game-winning shot to win by 1 point, 39-38, and that was down to the wire. Then you go to 2015, and we're playing Booneville in the state championship, and the score is tied, and it's our ball on the sideline. We're in the last seconds. We throw the ball around. We have freshman Sarah Behrman, who's now the assistant coach at Tisch County girls. She had the ball on the right wing as a freshman, made a beautiful pass to Caitlin Nunley on the go. We made a left-handed, ended up being the game-winning layup. We won that one by 2 points. And then go to 2021, Macy Walker and Abby Kirkendall and Casey Grimes, Taylor Hutchinson, those are the seniors. We had a chance to win it in regulation. We'd missed the shot. We go in overtime. We're playing Kossuth. And after we went through overtime, Macy drove in, drew the defense, dumped it off, and the girl made the game-winning layup. And we ended up winning that game. And then that was 2021. Everybody knows what happened 2024. So, and in 2014, 2022, we were runner-up. But out of the 8 games that I've coached in the state championship, we've all played someone that's in what we call in our division. Alabama calls area. So we've had to play each other several times, and then we're on the stage. Like this time with Booneville, it was our 3rd time to play Booneville. They had beaten us during the regular season. They had beaten us for the division championship, and we were 0-2, and we were able to get the one at the end. So that's what I was so proud about the girls. A lot of times people look at records or look at past, and it's not about what a previous game. All that is to prepare you for the next one. And I felt like the girls really had mental toughness to overcome, were able to beat the 2-time state champions, because Booneville was a really good team. They won it back-to-back, and they were trying for a 3-peat. Yeah. Plus, they also had the 3A Mississippi Player of the Year, Sanaya Cook, who had won it back-to-back, 3A Player of the Year. So they were a really good team, really well coached.
Yeah. How big of a obstacle is that to coach your team to overcome that mental deal there of, them already beating them twice this year?
Right. I think it's, first you just got to keep telling your team, play where your feet are. Anything in the past or during the game, it doesn't matter. I did give them the story of 2015. We played Booneville during the regular season. They beat us. And then in the division championship, Booneville beat us by 1 point in the division. So we were 0-2. But in 15, we played them again for the state championship, and we ended up beating them. Right. So I told them I want history to repeat itself. So we lost 2 games during the regular season this year to Booneville, but we won the end. So those are the 2 that I remember the most, is against the same team, the same school. But I was that part, and I really thought, and I always say this, when the margin of victory is not much, the games get closer and closer and closer, the team that loses has got a better edge, a better chance. Right. If it's a blowout game every time, it's hard to prepare your girls. But both games we played the Booneville this year came down to 1 possession. We could have won both of them just as well as we lost. But and I think watching game film and that showed our girls, and they're like, hey, we can beat them. So I believe that winning the state championship, you got to be really good. It's hard to win a state championship, but I also believe you got to be mentally tough. Because when you're down there and this is for that gold ball, and you look over and you see it, there's a lot of emotions that go through a game. So I just try to tell them, trust your skill set, don't play off emotion. Yeah.
Does this championship, is it hold a special place to you compared to any of the others?
Well, I think all of them are special, and I think the thing about makes them special is because it's done with different players, and it's done with different parents and grandparents. You get to share this experience with all of them, which makes them special. Comparing them, there's one thing about it, they're all similar. We either won in overtime or we won on the last second shot. Yeah. The 5 state championships that I have won as a coach has been all within 10 points. First game was 5. The second game in 2012, we won by 1. In 2015, we won by 2. In 2021, we won by 1. And then 2024, we won by 1. So all of them has been very close, and it's been very challenging as the coach when it comes down. Now, I'm expecting it. There's not going to be – it's going to come down to one possession, and you just hope your girls execute. As far as – looking back on the ones, you just have special moments in each game, with special players that you remember certain things. But to be able to share it with all of those players and them to come back and support you as a coach and support your team, watching them, it makes it very special. But all of them that's won it and hadn't won it, but the ones that's won it's all special to me, because that's memories that I have that I will never forget, and I think it's the same true for them.
Yeah. Folks, we got to take a short break here. We'll be back just shortly.
When it comes to buying land, why not have a team to help you make the right decisions? Tyler and Dale Jeffries can be that team. After all, they've been a team since the beginning. With Tyler growing up playing football for his dad as his coach, they've become Team Jeffries. Now they're ready to make the next big play and a touchdown for you. Whether you're looking to buy, sell, lease, or even auction land, let Team Jeffries take you to the end zone and make your dreams a reality. Serving all of Alabama and Tennessee. Visit nationalland.com.
Everybody, it's Dale Raper, and we're back here with Chris Higginbottom. Chris, let's go on a little further. I wrote down these questions here. So, when did you realize coaching was going to be a passion of yours?
No, I started when I was at Red Bay, when I was a high school basketball player at Red Bay, and I was asked to coach a youth league girls 5th and 6th grade team. So I started doing that, helping a lady, and I was like, I really like that, and I got really attached to that, and that's something I wanted to do. And I had teachers throughout my life that had a very big impact and influence on me about being a teacher. My dad was killed when I was 3 years old, and I never had that father figure growing up in my life. I had some family, my uncle and others, but I had some teachers to really have a big influence. So I knew that, hey, I want to have an influence on students today like they had on me.
Right.
And that's why I went to become a teacher. And then, I knew I wanted to coach girls basketball, just from dealing with the youth teams and dealing with the girls. And when I graduated from UNA, I was applying for jobs everywhere in Alabama and Mississippi. And I was at the superintendent's office at Tishomingo County, and Mr. Mullins was superintendent. And he called me in his office and said, "Would you be interested in teaching math and coaching girls basketball at Burnsville?" I said, "Yes, sir." And I went and met with a principal, and she hired me on the spot. Math's my favorite subject. Coaching girls basketball couldn't be any better. So anyhow, Miss Pat Jones hired me, and I was blessed. I walked into some girls that actually could play, were pretty good. They ended up going 53-1. We won the county championship. We went undefeated. We won the 5-county championship at Burnsville. And so I was there 4 years, and then, I was asked to come to Belmont. So came to Belmont and been there 19 years. But I knew through influences of other people and through God's plan for my life that, that he was calling me to be a coach and a teacher. And, I believe teaching's a calling. I believe coaching's a calling. I don't believe that you're in it for the money, because you're not going to be making a whole lot, but you will be blessed. And, in my career, I believe that God always blesses obedience. And I believe that being obedient to him is the reason why I've been blessed so much. And, when we receive blessings, I always want to give him glory. I may look like a great coach and a really good, X and O guy, but when it comes down to it, I know who's in control, and God just blesses me because I'm being obedient. A lot of people joke and say, well, they don't care about wins and losses. I do believe that God, wants his people to fulfill his plan
100%.
and purpose. And when you fulfill his plan and purpose, he's going to take care of you. Because I say if God leads you to it, he's going to help you through it. Right. And that's where he's been with me in my coaching career.
Yeah. What about you being from Red Bay, coaching across the state line in Belmont? Has there ever been any tension there, or you had great support with that from everybody, or how's that worked out?
I have. I believe that the two greatest coaches to ever coach girls basketball is Malcolm Kirkendall from Belmont, Coach Donnie Roberts from Red Bay. Right. And when I went to school at Red Bay, Donnie was the girls' coach. I learned a lot from him. When I got out of college, he mentored me. A great girls coach, also Malcolm Kirkendall. He was my mentor, and I'm so thankful for Mr. Kirkendall because he's the one that hired me and gave me the opportunity to coach at Belmont. Yeah. And he's the most successful I considered in Mississippi coaching. But those two have been my mentors. Red Bay, with Coach Roberts being a big help and assistant, and being a mentor, I think that's alleviated a lot. He and I had a lot of battles, on the court. He won some, I won some. So, but Red Bay has been nothing but good to me. Very supportive. I think they go for Belmont except for when we play Red Bay. Yeah. We have Red Bay people who come to our games and support. We have Red Bay people who cover us as far as media wise. The Red Bay News did an excellent job this year on covering us. So I'm really blessed to be able to be, I guess you say, coaching at the rivalry, but be from Red Bay, Yeah. But I'm the same way. I go for Red Bay and everything except the time they play us. But I've been treated really well by Red Bay. I grew up here. I went to church here. And everybody from Red Bay has just been very supportive of me, and I'm very appreciative of that.
Yeah. Well, what about you talked about Mr. Kirkendall? So you give me a paper here. Tell me something about all of this, what all he was involved with, what he was coaching here when all this happened.
Mr. Kirkendall, when you look at Belmont girls basketball tradition, it's always sort of been there. Belmont girls basketball has been in the state tournament 42 times. They've played for a state championship 21 times, and Belmont girls basketball has won the state championship 13 times. Well, Coach Hoyle Payne is pretty much the man known for starting Belmont girls basketball. He got the girls to the state tournament year after year after year. Very successful coach. And then Malcolm Kirkendall came in, and he was very successful at Pine Grove. Very successful wherever he was, but he won state championships at Pine Grove. 3 there, and he came to Belmont, and he won 5 girls state championship at Belmont. But he is in the state tournament every year, state finals. Unbelievable in his 13 years at Belmont. And he pretty much, it started the tradition, and then he came through and he took them across the finish line of winning 5. And, after that, we had a coach, Deaton, that Coach Heather. She won a state championship, which put, Belmont up on the map again. And then I've been blessed to win 5. So, Mr. Kirkendall and myself have 10 of the 13. His winning percentage is 80+%, like 84% really? Winning percentage. Mr. Kirkendall didn't lose many games, and if it did, it didn't happen anymore. But a phenomenal career, and as a young coach and as a person that he hired, that I looked up to, he was my mentor. And hey, I want to be like Mr. Kirkendall. Anybody been that successful, I want to be like him. Yeah. So a lot of stuff I followed his pattern and sort of molded me. So I give my coaching credit, and the stuff they've done is by him providing me the opportunity, because if he didn't give me the opportunity, I wouldn't be sitting here today. Right. And I owe a lot to him and a lot of his leadership and mentorship, and he's been a big help.
You still call on him?
I do. I still call on him. I still ask him questions, and there's things that come up, whether it's coaching or whatever in life, and I'm like, hey, I need your help on this. And he's always willing to help. He's always being honest. And I know after talking to him, I'll be better off because of his wisdom.
Right. So what about in the last 15 years, been a state tournament, 12 out of 15 years. Did you talk about that earlier?
We've been fortunate in the last 7 years to go 7 years in a row to the state tournament. So there's one thing about winning. Winning brings expectation. And, when no matter where you're at in the state of Mississippi, even Lawton, Alabama, when you mention Belmont, people think about Belmont girls basketball.
Right.
And there's been people tell me, y'all are there every year. It's not that easy to be there every year.
Right.
But it's the standard and the expectation that you have in a program and at the school, and your community expects it. They expect us to be in the Final Four in Jackson every year. They expect us to win a state championship every year. That's a lot of, pressure on players. But also, if you don't have a standard or expectation, then you're probably not going to be very successful.
So you won't have the drive.
Exactly. And what we say is we're passing the baton off. This group's graduating. They're passing on to you. It's your turn to carry the tradition on.
Yeah.
And then they'll pass it on to another group. It's your turn to carry the tradition on. And when you get girls continue playing to that standard, that's the reason why that helps go into the state tournament. And, being able to go 14 times in my 19 years has been a blessing. But you always want to come back from Jackson with that gold ball.
Right.
That's the ultimate goal. But I am been very proud of our girls and our program in the last, 19 years to go in down there 14 in a state tournament.
What about the 18 winning seasons out of the 19 you've been there?
Well, we've had a winning season every year I've been at Belmont, and there's only one season where we won 18 games that we didn't win 20 plus. And every season we've won 20 plus game and had a winning season. In my 19 years, we've won 496 games. And I want to try to get that 500 this year. It's 4 away. We had some weather issues with canceling games and stuff like that. And a few games we should have won that we didn't, and could have gotten it. But, you have goals as a coach just like you have goals for players.
Yeah.
And I never want to be complacent. When I come to the point where I'm satisfied, that's when I'm going to step away. I always believe that good robs you from being great. When people tell you that, hey, you're good, you're going to accept that, but you'll never get any further. I don't want to be a good coach. I want to be the greatest coach. And that's what I tell my players. You don't want to be a good player. You want to be a great player. And that's what, try to emphasize. But being able to have, that many winning seasons, I know we have 13 of the 19, we've won 25 games or more.
Yeah.
And then you have, when you look at them all together, 18 of our 19 seasons I've been at Belmont, we've won 20 plus games every year. When you average that out, that's a 26 wins per season. And that's what I'm very proud of our team. So I've never had a losing season. That's not going to happen, That's not, I say it's not, but that's not our expectation.
Right.
But, to be able to average 26 wins every season, that's very speaks well of your players and your program. So, and again, I don't take credit. I give them credit to my players and give most credit. I give all the credit to God for blessing me. Definitely.
Right. What about, so you've had 16 players go and play college ball?
I have had 16 who signed to go play college ball. I've had several others who had the option to go play college ball, but a lot of them, were successful in high school, or they may have won a state championship. They're like, hey, I just want to end it on winning it all. I don't even want to go play college ball. Because, college ball is not for everybody.
Right.
It's a job. It's hard work. It's demanding, because you look at it in today's time, they do, but they pay you to play.
Right.
They used to pay just education for you to go, but now they pay you actually play. So that's another thing I'm very proud of. I want players to be able to continue their education. And, some may not have it paid for just due to the financial situation, but they can use the game of basketball to be able to, pay for their college.
Right. You got anything else you want to share off of this? Or you got some more stuff over there?
Well, outside of the program and the tradition, that's something that, very, very proud of, being able to coach in Jackson, 23 games. There's been a special privilege and honor. But, I always say to have a successful program, you got to have really good players, and you also have got to have supportive parents, supportive administration, supportive community. And at Belmont, we've got a supportive administration. We have supportive parents who allow me and trust me to coach their daughter to the best of my ability. And also, players respond. They know what the standard is, and they do their best to get it done.
What about, I just looked down here and seen this on the junior high on your coaching record, 388 wins. That's a pretty big number too, ain't it?
It is. I believe that our high school starts with our junior high. If you don't have a good junior high team, you're not going to have a very good high school team. So I was able to take that position over and do it, and have had some really good teams. Last year, for the very first time in Mississippi High School Activity Association, they started a junior high state championship. It was a big invitational tournament, all classifications, and we actually won that last year.
Really?
And those players, what's unique about those players, they went undefeated, 23-0. They won the county tournament. They won the 5-county tournament. Then they won the junior high state championship. And then this year as freshmen, they won the state championship.
That's pretty
I was
sweet,
telling some of the parents, I said, I got a daughter. I wish my daughter could accomplish all that in 2 years. And used to, they didn't have that. All you had mainly in Mississippi in the area was like a 5-county championship. And that takes the 5 counties from the surrounding area of Northeast Community College, and you play. The top 2 teams play there. And, that used to be what we considered a junior high state championship. And, we're able to win that. So I've been very blessed to be able to win 5 of those. And we won 1 at Burnsville. So I told my high school girls, hey, if you win a 5-county in junior high, you're probably going to win a state championship in high school. Yeah. And that's pretty much been the trend.
Right. I looked over this too. What about this #1 girls basketball program in the state of Mississippi?
Yeah, in 2015, USA Today came out with basically just voting on top programs in the state, and they chose Belmont girls basketball team to be the #1 girls basketball team in the state of Mississippi in 2015. And they put that in the USA Today, and it was a pretty big article, pretty big deal. So that just spoke well of my players and being able to win it that year, and having a great year. But I was proud of that accomplishment for our program.
How do you set your expectations? So I don't know how to ask that. How do they get any higher once you've done that? I mean, what keeps you going?
Right. For starting for me as a coach, winning 5 state championships, that's good. But hey, I want to win 6. That's my goal, win 6. All right. For my players, they won it this past year. I have a lot returning. I have a lot of younger players. Our thing is we want to repeat. As a coach at Belmont, I've never repeated. Now, Mr. Kirkendall has, but I've never won it back-to-back. And I want our team to be able to have that as their goal. Hey, win it back-to-back. It'd be the first time in a very long time that it's happened. Right. So, and just keep saying be the best brand of yourself that you can be. Be the best player. And I believe that if you're being the best, then, you're going to have really good results for your team. But I don't think you ever need to be complacent. The worst place to be is complacent. Right. And the worst place to be is say, hey, we won 1. Oh, well. I do not want to be a part of a program who wins 1 and 30 years later they might win another one. Right. The thing that I want to do as a coach at Belmont is to carry on the tradition and be consistent. I believe that when you perform consistently in anything, you're successful. Yeah. When you be consistent day in, day out, you're going to be successful. And that's what I've tried to do as a coach, and I've tried to pass on to my players about being consistent. Because when you play 30 games during the season, and one game you look good and the next game you don't look good, then that's not going to be a lot of success. So you want to be your best each night. And so that's what we want to carry on, the goal of trying to repeat. And let's just try to go without a loss on the schedule. Yeah. That's your ultimate goal. Let's see if we can make it happen.
What about, I just thought about this. What about, how much does, what do they call it? I call it summer ball. What do they call that?
Yeah, it is summer league ball, different camps and stuff like that.
How much does that help?
I think it's very crucial. A lot of times during the summer, you get to play different teams you may not play during the year. You also get to play different players on your own team in different ways. That's not maybe as high pressured, and getting experience. We usually go to a camp down in Florida. We spend a night in the hotel, so this adjusts the girls where, hey, we're used to staying in a room together. So when we get to the time where we have to play maybe in Jackson or wherever, we've been in the room together. We've been in this routine. We get up and we go play ball. I think a lot of that brings your team together, because you can have the most talented team. And, I tell mine all the time, the most talented teams do not always win. No. It's the teams who play together, who mesh together. And I thought that's something that happened really well with us in the second part of the season, is I felt like we really meshed together, played well together. When you take talent and you take playing together, and you put those together, you'll have a successful team. But when you take talent and you take, whether it's jealousy or don't like each other, and you're going against each other, you're not going to win at all. And those are the things we try to prevent.
Sets it up for catastrophe.
That's exactly right. Anytime there's jealousy or there's selfishness that goes on a team, then, it'll kill a team. It'll be a lot of people define those as cancers of a team. But, that's something I was proud about our team, is because we didn't have that this year. And a lot of that stops with good leadership. Right. And we had really good leadership from our older players and, through our point guard that made freshmen feel very welcome, made sophomores, everybody just did their job. I told everybody, you all have a job, whatever it might be. You know what it is. You have a role. If everyone does their job to the best of their ability and fulfills their role, we'll be very successful. And I really thought everybody on our team, from leading scorer down, the best defender, the worst, did their job. And that's how we won the championship this year.
Yep. Well, folks, we got to take another short break. We'll be back in just a minute. We're back. We're still sitting here with Chris Higginbottom. Chris been telling us about his basketball coaching career. Coach, I want to ask you something here. I've heard you speak a couple of times to some youth groups, at some different church functions. You care to share anything about that calling?
Oh, definitely. I got saved when I was a college sophomore, and I was a member at First Baptist Church here in Red Bay. And God started dealing with me about working with youth, because there's, again, that not having a dad growing up. I thought I could be the dad that someone may not have, just there for advice. And the Lord led me to Burnsville to teach and coach, but he also, during that time, opened up a position at Calvary Baptist where I served on staff to work with the youth. And I did that for 15 and a half years, and got to have great opportunities of, sharing God's word and also leading people to Christ, and which has been extremely blessing. And then he led me, when I had children and married, that's a lot of time consuming if you do it the right way. The Lord started leading me in another direction as far as filling in for churches that may be a preacher sick or, on vacation. And I do that a lot on Sundays or whenever they need me. I've been blessed to fill in a lot of churches around the area, around the community and surrounding community. And that's what he's led me to do on that. I think that my calling for that is, to help churches that are in need. And Lord's blessed me from that. Again, Jeremiah 29:11, for I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you, not to harm you, but to give you a hope in the future. I know God has a plan, and my goal as a human being is to do his plan to bring him glory.
Right.
So, but that's what I do outside of basketball.
Was that an easy calling?
It was not. It was something I really didn't want to do, especially dealing with teenagers. I thought that, I could more work with senior adults or, that age group, but God put me in that, and he used me. I have many who come back and, tell me they really appreciate the influence that I had on them growing up as a teenager. So I know he used it, for his purpose and plan. So. Yeah. And then going and filling in the pulpit's a very high calling, and never take that lightly. But God gives me a message to tell the church, and that's what I do. And he blesses that. So.
Right. So, what's something you'd tell somebody, tell a kid, or not even just a kid, but I mean a young adult that's thinking about they wanting to get into the coaching business?
Coaching is a very rewarding occupation job. If you do it the right way, it's very demanding and it's very challenging. We're living in a new time where you have social media and a lot of selfishness about players and, kids being their number one. Everybody thinks that maybe their daughter or son's going to go to college, which makes it very, challenging. But, I advise anybody, hey, if that's what you want to do, go do it. It's rewarding. You'll be blessed for it. But I think that you need to find at least a couple mentors. As I shared earlier, Mr. Kirkendall, Coach Roberts, I went to the best of the best. The one thing I want to do as a coach, and I do this every summer, I study behind coaches who are successful. And if there's something that they do that I might can bring to our team and our program, it will help. So my advice is, starting out young, find a mentor or two or more, and that someone you trust and has been successful in that job, and just let them take you under the wings. And that's what Mr. Kirkendall, Mr. Roberts done, for me. And they've taken me under the wings and they've guided and directed me, and that's helped me in the coaching, because when someone's already been there and done that, that wisdom is what you need when you're just starting out.
Right.
Because when you start out and you don't have that, then you're just trial and error, and you don't want to do anything that would, damage your career, or also look back and say, hey, if I had known more, then I could have helped that team win better.
Right.
But I started out at a junior high level. I thought that was a really good thing to do. It really started with me with the youth level, because I coached that 5th and 6th grade girls team. I knew that's what I wanted to do. And then I coached junior high girls, and, you have goals to coach undefeated, win a county, win 5 county. We were able to accomplish that at Burnsville, and I knew I wanted to win a gold ball. So I went from the junior high, learned a lot about the game and also the ins and outs, a lot of stuff that you may not know, from fundraisers to program building to culture building, to be able to do it at the high school level, and, to take that experience and to have those mentors, I think is the best way to be very successful. But I wouldn't advise anybody just to go, hey, I'm going to do it my way and this is the way or no way.
Yeah.
Because that's not always the best way, you
Right.
know. So, but I give a lot of credit to the people that's been around me. Another mentor that I have, and I still talk to, is Coach Glenn Elmore. He's a great godly guy, and he gives me a lot of wisdom, and I call on him a lot. I believe that going through the coaching, you got to have those shoulders and those people to call on that who will listen to you.
I'm sure.
And it's better when they've already been there and done that. And he normally knows if my name pops up on his phone, it's probably like, oh, here we go, But I do appreciate him and the wisdoms he's given me. So those three right there are, have really helped me in my coaching career, just to mention three.
Right. Well, folks, we're going to get this wrapped up. Anybody that's watched this before knows that we close this out with a Bible verse. And I was telling Chris that before we got started, and he was telling me what the Belmont basketball girls are going to have put on their championship rings. It's 1 Corinthians 10:31. Coach, you care to
I'll be glad to. Our
that?
Seniors wanted to put this on their ring, so this will be on the ring. 1 Corinthians 10:34 or 31. It says, "Whether therefore you eat or drink or whatever you do, do all things to the glory of God." I believe when you do all things to the glory of God, He will get the glory.
Oh, there's no doubt. And none of us are ever going to be perfect. Some of us have a harder time than others being as good as we possibly can be. We don't give everything over to God as much as we should, as often as we should, which I mean is everything. We should give it all to Him, all of our problems, all of our good, all of our bad, whatever. I mean, if we're not doing that, we're selling Him short. So, but it's all for the glory of Him. It has nothing to do with our honor or our glory. It's all His. But folks, we appreciate y'all being with us. Y'all have a good one.